Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today I thought I'd show off my Big Finish and soundtrack collection and CDs, audios, all that jazz. Because as you'll know, if you've seen my DVD collection video, they're kept kind of on the shelves. They're not in my room, they're downstairs in the living room as it were. And they're not kind of in a very accessible position, I guess, because they're all dotted around a bit. They're kind of on top of DVDs and on top of the whole unit. So I thought what I'd do is just bring them all together on the table here and go through them all, give my thoughts on each one and show you which ones I've got in my collection. So I'm going to start with Big Finish and basically just go through every single release that I've got in my collection. I'm going to do it in chronological order, not necessarily the order that they came out in, but the order that I bought them in, which brings me to my introduction to Big Finish. So it was in autumn 2015 that I started to get into it. I got a couple of the main range ones from 1 to 50, Storm Warning and Spare Parts, but they're download only because they're out of print on CD. So the first CD that I actually got in my collection was this, Torchwood: The Conspiracy. And I was very impressed with this. I thought it was a very good, solid Torchwood adventure, and having listened to it again since originally getting it in 2015, and it's a very good start to the Big Finish Torchwood series. So after this I got Fall to Earth the following month, because they came out every month, like the Doctor Who main range I suppose. Again, a very good story with Yanto, probably not quite as good as The Conspiracy, but still a very nice Torchwood story. And then after this, I didn't actually get them every month because I couldn't really afford it, to be honest. 10 quid every month, on top of all the other Doctor Who things and publications, figures, all sorts of other stuff that I get and did get at the time. But I have actually got all the ones in the first series of Big Finish Torchwood audios in the month since. So, Fall to Earth, another good story. I need to re-listen to all the other ones really, because I only listened to them once. But yeah, I thought this one was okay, probably not quite as good and a bit misleading I suppose, so that's that. One Rule with Yvonne Hartman back. Nice to see a story set in Cardiff I suppose, with her exploring Cardiff, given that Torchwood was based in Cardiff and Doctor Who and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's another good story. Uncanny Valley. This was the most recent one that I got to complete the set, and I was actually waiting for it to come in the post. It came today, so that I could record this video. Whilst it's not a disappointing story as such, in my opinion, it's a very, very strange one. I mean, if you want to listen to John Barrowman having sex with a robotic cyborg thing, then yeah, I guess this is for you. Yeah, there are some interesting kind of moral questions, I suppose, about automatons and cyborg duplicates and that kind of thing. So it's not all bad, but it's one of the weakest of the set, definitely, and not quite as strong as I thought it would be. And then More Than This. Wow, what a fantastic story. Easily the best of Series 1, I think, and one of the best Torchwood audios that Big Finish have done. Again, lots of moral questions and all sorts of ideas, things like that, and it's back in Cardiff with Gwen. It's set after Miracle Day, and she's actually trying to get Torchwood back together. So it's kind of the first audio, I suppose, in the series that's actually looking towards the future of Torchwood. And yeah, it's very entertaining with a really good councillor guy called Robert Pugh, I think his name is, who works for the council. And yeah, it's basically Gwen telling him why he should give her permission to bring back Torchwood, and it's great fun. And then from Series 2 of the Big Finish Torchwood audios, I've got Zone 10, another nice story with Tosh back. It's her first one, and she gets to go on a mission herself, which is good. Nice to see a bit of Tosh, I suppose, because she didn't get much attention in the TV series. She was always kind of pushed aside, I guess, by the other characters. So it's always nice to see a story with Tosh being independent and going out and doing something for herself, really. So yeah, Zone 10 is a quite nice adventure. And then I've got the finale from Series 2 as well, Made You Look, which is another very strong adventure with Gwen. This one, for Broadchurch fans, has Matthew Gravel, who played Joe Miller. If you've not watched Broadchurch, I don't really want to spoil it for you, but Joe Miller is the Broadchurch killer from Series 1, there we go, it's out there. And he does a very good job here as the villainous thing that's chasing Gwen. I forget what it's called, but basically this one's set in an old seaside town. It's been abandoned, deserted, nobody there, and there's a voice chasing Gwen around. It's a very thrilling, gripping piece of audio drama. A bit of a weird ending, a cliffhanger basically. It's interesting, but I don't believe it's been resolved in any of the audios since, which is slightly irritating. You know, are you going to resolve it or not, Big Finish? It does work as a standalone thing, I think. But yeah, I think that's the thing that kind of annoys me about these Torchwood audios the most, and why I've not quite got every single one in the range so far. Because while there is a rough, loose story arc with the committee thing, that it kind of appears in each of the stories really, but never kind of goes anywhere. I mean, it kind of culminates a little bit in this, the Torchwood Archive, the 10th anniversary special, which links back to all the other audios so far. It's got all the characters, bar Owen, because Bern Gorman hadn't come on board yet when this was made. But it's got all the characters and kind of links back to all the other stories in the first two series, which can be overwhelming if you've not listened to them all, because when I got this I hadn't listened to as many Series 1 and 2 stories as I have now. Yeah. So the whole committee thing, I don't know really, I think that's basically it. It's just these first two series in the Torchwood Archive is it for the committee, and whilst I've not listened to all of Series 2, it just seems like a bit of a flop really. It doesn't really go anywhere, the whole arc, which is it's disappointing. But if you, unlike me, have listened to every single one of the stories so far in the Torchwood range, and would like to prove me wrong and say actually it does go somewhere, you're missing this, then please point it out to me in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think of the Torchwood range if you listen to it, and the whole committee arc, because it's sort of a bit strange really. So as well as all these individual Torchwood audios, I've also got Outbreak. I got this last year when it came out. Well, actually it's for Christmas I got this one, so a bit later than October or November, whenever it came out. It's a first for the series, for the range, because it's got characters together. While all the other stories are great, they're just individual characters, so just one with Jack or Yanto or Gwen or whoever, Tosh. And that kind of gets tiresome after a while, so it's good that Big Finish kind of, I suppose, organised this and planned to get, you know, John Barrowman and Eve Miles and, what's his name, Yanto, back together for this set. It's set before Children of Earth, so it's just these three, in between Series 2 and 3 I suppose. And yeah, it's alright, but I kind of found it a little bit disappointing. I think it loses momentum in the middle. If you've listened to this story you'll probably know what I mean really. It gets a bit weird with Yanto chasing Jack and saying, oh I love you, but that's part of the actual plot, because the monsters, I think, yeah, it's humans. The humans are the villains, and they get overtaken by this disease, possessed. This disease makes you love, I think, it's something like that. Yeah, Outbreak is a bit of a weird one, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. I found it slightly bizarre. So yeah, that's Torchwood out the way, all of them gone. So after this, obviously at the same time, a lot of new series Doctor Who stuff was coming out from Big Finish. They just got the licence, and so in about, I think it was December or January, December 2015 or January 2016, I got this, The Diary of River Song Series 1 or Volume 1. Yeah, this was the next one I got. And there's some good stuff in here, there is some good stuff, and it's good to see River Song. She's definitely the right type of character to make it work, you know, to have her own spin-off show. And like I say, some good stories in here. It's a little bit weird, I need to re-listen to it again, just to kind of get the whole story arc, to get the gist of it, because it's ever so slightly confusing, I think, especially with the Doctor appearing, the 8th Doctor, because of all the timey-wiminess, and this guy who is like a fake Doctor. It's all a bit confusing, but yeah, I'll definitely re-listen to that at some point, because it is a good set. And then Series 2, which I got, well, it was a year later I suppose, wasn't it? It was Boxing Day or Christmas Day last year it came out. It was a little surprise, I think. Big Finish released it then, so I thought, okay, I've got some Christmas money, let's spend it on Volume 2, like I did last year. This one, again, is quite strange. I mean, again, there's some good stuff, good interaction between River and the 6th and 7th Doctors, but overall, again, I find it slightly strange, slightly convoluted. I think because of the nature of it all, like I say, the timey-wiminess, not only of the Doctors appearing from the classic era, but also of the plots as well, it does get quite confusing and convoluted, and I think, again, yeah, I just need to re-listen to it really, I suppose, to both volumes again, just to work out what I really think of them. So the next release that I picked up was in May 2016. It was the very, very strong set of stories that is the 10th Doctor Adventures. It fits in seamlessly to Series 4, it really does. Great to have David Tennant back on board as a new series Doctor doing Big Finish, along with Catherine Tate as Donna. And yeah, this kind of book way of presenting it, limited edition, is very nice indeed. I know some people prefer to have them as actual CD cases, and part of me gets that as well. I was kind of debating whether to go for this, which is slightly more expensive as well, like 30 quid or something, or to go for them instead. But it's just beautiful really, the pictures, photos and all the discs, the way it's presented like a book, a little bit like the Regeneration DVD box set. It's just very nice indeed, and yeah, a nice limited edition piece really, to mark the occasion and to mark the first New Who Doctor and companion coming to Big Finish. And then after that, over the summer of last year, I picked up a few Big Finish items. Firstly, classic Doctor's New Monsters, some very good stories here, and great to have, the pair-ups, the team-ups, well, not team-ups, but, I mean, the pairs of new monsters and classic Doctors. It's a great mix, very well selected, the monsters to go with the Doctors, and yeah, I need to give these another re-listen, I suppose, because I've not listened to them since last year, especially now having seen more Classic Who as well. I think I'd probably appreciate them a little bit more, but nothing bad here, definitely. It's a very, very good set, and I'm very much looking forward to the next one that's coming out in just a few months now. I think it's next month, so that is something to look forward to. And then after that, or at the same time as that, I believe, was when I ventured into the Unit, the new series sets. I was debating whether to get Just Shut Down, which was still at the £20 pre-order, release price at that time, or the first one, Extinction, which was £30 at that time. I think what I did was get this one, Extinction, and Classic Doctor's New Monsters together, and then got the £50 10% off thing, and got Shut Down at a later, slightly later time, I think. But I definitely listened to these two around the same sort of time, kind of on trips down, down south, going away on a holiday, in the car, because I live in North Yorkshire, so it's many hours to get down to places like Cardiff or Devon or places like that. So these and Classic Doctor's New Monsters did the job very nicely. And then when the third and fourth sets were released, I got them as well, naturally. If you've seen my review of Assembled, which came out just a few weeks ago now, you'll know how much I love this series. It's really, really strong. Probably one of my favourites from Big Finish, if not my absolute favourites. Basically just giving Kate and Osgood more time off screen, on audio, to do some more adventures. Gemma Redgrave and Ingrid Oliver, obviously I suppose they're not available all the time in TV, and TV doesn't always require them in the new series. For example, in Series 10 they're not set to appear. So it's just brilliant really that we're kind of getting sort of Pertwee-esque stories with the new unit crew that very much parallels with the old one, with Kate in the brig role, Osgood as the scientific advisor, like the Doctor, or like Joe, I suppose, in the old series, in the classic series, and then a couple of original male characters to cover for kind of people like Benton and Yates in the classic series. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I really would recommend you get these, especially Assembled. It's still at the pre-order price, and it's the best out of the four, easily. Well, I say easily, they're all great, but Assembled particularly so, just because it reunites all of Unit, the classic Unit and the new Unit, plus the Silurians. You really cannot go wrong. It's a fantastic set, and yeah, you really should get it. And to be honest, if you can afford it, if you have the motivation, just get all of these sets because they're absolutely fantastic. And so that's it for Big Finish. So quickly I'll just go through the other CDs in my collection, which is mainly soundtracks, to be honest. I've got all the Doctor Who ones released so far, just about here. So quickly just going through them all. The first one from Series 1 and 2. Yeah, some good stuff on here. I don't think it's kind of... well, it doesn't really hold up, in my opinion, you know, over the years. It's not quite as good as Doctor Who soundtracks are now. I mean, Murray Gold has improved immensely, in my opinion. He really has. But by Series 8, I think that soundtrack is really good. But obviously here as well, you have to take into account that these aren't the original cues for Series 1. They had to re-record them, I think, because the first ones were electronic, and then they did them with orchestra here. And also, it's not quite as wide a selection here in the earlier soundtracks. That's the same for Series 3 and Series 4, I suppose, as well. And the special, there's slightly more stuff in the specials because there's only 4 or 5 episodes to go through. So the RTD era stuff I do like, but I think definitely I prefer his Moffat stuff. So Series 5, for example, yeah, wow, what a fantastic soundtrack. A really brilliant one with some great themes, very kind of catchy, I suppose, and yeah, some great stuff like I'm the Doctor, Amy's theme, all sorts of things like that just reoccur throughout the series. Series 5 as well is such a strong series anyway, but the music really makes it, I suppose. Series 6, not quite as good, but there's still some good stuff on there, I think. Then the Snowmen and the Doctor Stored in the Wardrobe. It's quite a nice one to play at Christmas, this one, because they're Christmas specials. It's not really great for other times of the year or just general listening. But there's some nice stuff, I suppose, like Clara's theme in particular, which is very nice and appears for the first time, excluding Asylum of the Daleks there. And then Series 7, that shouldn't be there. Series 7 is here, yep. This was the first one I got, I think. I got the limited edition version from Amazon, I think, didn't I? Or something like that. I think I pre-ordered it anyway, and so it's not in a case, it's in this slightly strange cardboard version, which may or may not be limited edition, I can't remember. But yeah, Series 7 soundtrack is very, very good indeed. By this point you're really getting a lot of tracks from each episode individually, that they're listed by episode. So there's a great selection here from each episode. It's very kind of complete, that there's not much missing. You get all the main cues, so it's good. And yeah, I think by Series 7, yeah, Murray Gold has improved quite a bit, and it's great to see such a varied selection of music on that soundtrack. The Day of the Doctor is very much the same as Series 7, really. There's some great stuff here. A lot that wasn't actually used in the finished episode, which is interesting, so do pick this up if you want to listen to some of that stuff. At the Time of the Doctor as well, yeah, some good stuff, really, I suppose. Nice new stuff, some reused or old stuff that comes up again, like Trenzlaw, the Long Song, and, well, whatever that one is. It's not I'm Information, it's something like My Husband's Home. But yeah, the Regeneration Suite for the 11th Doctor. The 50th Anniversary Collection, this is a very good buy, really, if you're a fan of any era of Doctor Who. There's some good stuff from every single era, especially the classic series. A lot of classic series music on here. You know, all the classic series music I use in videos or just for general use, or all the classic music I have, I suppose, comes from this soundtrack. It really is good. It's got loads of discs inside. It's like a special case, double case. So yeah, definitely buy that, especially if you're a fan of the classic era. Series 8, well, I've told you already what I think of this one. It's fantastic. It's 3 CDs, you get Last Christmas as well. And yeah, really by this point, Murray Gold is just, he's so good. He's improved immensely, I think. And I mean, A Good Man is just a masterpiece. It's a great piece of music, and I love how it's interwoven into every episode of Series 8. And also as well, from a musical point of view, a lot of it is in the same keys. For example, there's a lot of stuff in A minor, and that just gives it a nice sense of continuity, I suppose, combined with the 12th Doctor's theme, which is so easy, I suppose, to work into other episodes and other cues because it's so simple, the main 4-note motif. So Series 8 soundtrack, very, very good. We're all waiting for the Series 9 one, which again was very good I suppose as well. Another good Capaldi era soundtrack. I really wish they'd hurry up releasing it. I mean, I've just got to the point now basically where, you know, I think like many fans, well, I've almost just given up hope. I mean, we'll get it one day, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see it anytime soon, Silver Screen or BBC or whoever's in charge of the soundtrack situation. If you're listening, please hurry up with that. And then to finish off the soundtrack section here, Sherlock Series 4. It's not Doctor Who, but a very good soundtrack. Oh, that was not meant to happen. Let's try that again. Sherlock Series 4, a very, very strong soundtrack. I really love this one. I listened to them for each episode. They came out the day after each episode aired. I wish I'd do that with Doctor Who. But anyway, they came out, the individual ones, like on Spotify or something, and they ended up on YouTube. And I listened to them at the time, I just thought, wow, what fantastic soundtracks. They're really, really, really good. They just complement each episode in a really great way. It's difficult to explain, really. So yeah, I got my hands on this as soon as it came out. I actually pre-ordered it from the website because you also get this little sneaky Abominable Bride soundtrack as well, which is kind of paper thin, the case, but it's nice anyhow. Just to have the music of a few cues from that story as well, that special. So yeah, a couple of Sherlock ones. I think the Sherlock soundtrack as well is very good. I think what would be really interesting would be to see the team up, the pair of composers, David Arnold and Michael Price, working on Doctor Who. It'd be really interesting to see what they could do with Doctor Who, because like I say, the soundtrack for Sherlock as a whole is phenomenal. I think, like with Doctor Who, it improves as the series go on. Like the series themselves, in my opinion, I think Series 4 is probably the strongest set of 3 episodes in Sherlock. But yeah, a great soundtrack for a great series, and yeah, what else can I say? Really, really good. And then to finish off, I kind of have a little anomaly here. It's this, Classic TV Adventures, the original soundtrack collection 1. I got this by surprise in the post the other day from Doctor Who magazine, and it said, "Congratulations, you've won a competition." I enter them every month, you know, just naturally, and it turned out that for the previous issue of the previous month, just gone, that I won this. So yeah, nice surprise. Because definitely as well, I don't think this is the kind of product that I would pick up myself, you know, willingly. Well, no, not willingly, but you know what I mean. It's not the kind of thing that I would willfully select, I suppose, above a figure or Big Finish audio or soundtrack or anything else. So yeah, it's really interesting, I think, and I'll definitely give it all a listen, or at least the ones that I've never listened to before or never watched before, because I think that's what it is. It's just the soundtracks from each story as they are on TV, but with some extra material, linking material, behind the scenes interviews. Especially I'm interested in the Pirate Planet, because obviously that's a missing story, so I'll probably give that one a listen, the first one that I give a listen, at some point in the near future. So that should be very interesting indeed, and once again, thank you to Doctor Who magazine for sending that to me. So here it all is again, my Big Finish CD and soundtrack Doctor Who collection. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you've got to this point at the end, because I predict it's probably going to be another quite long one. And please, in the comments below, leave your thoughts on any of the stuff I've got here, any of the Big Finish stories or box sets or soundtracks, or even the classic TV Adventures thing, if you've listened to that or have any idea what it's like, and give me some advice or comments or thoughts, anything on any of the stuff here, or on anything that I haven't got here. Any Big Finish stories that you think I might like, any recommendations, especially for the classic series I suppose, because I've not got that many, let's face it. I focus mainly on the new series and Torchwood and Unit. I have got some of the main range ones from 1 to 50, like I say, Storm Warning, Cold It, Davros and Spare Parts. I think they're the only ones I've got. But yeah, if you've got any suggestions for other ones, either in the main range or later main range, or any other range whatsoever from Big Finish that you think I would like, please pass them my way in the comments below. So I hope you've enjoyed this extra little video this week. Basically, the situation now is that I've had a couple of internal exams last week, but now I'm free of that, And basically there's not a whole lot more going on now this year for school. I'm halfway through A-level courses. I've had one AS last half term, and like I say, a couple of internal exams. But there's not going to be that much else going on over the next few weeks left of term. So I'm hoping really to start getting on with the King's Chamber and future figure adventures, more videos, having more time to do stuff like that, basically from now onwards all the way through the summer when I'm free. So hopefully you'll be glad to hear that, and yeah, I hope to devote lots of time to all those things over the next few weeks and months. I'll just see what happens, but like I say, I don't think there are going to be too many obstacles from now on, or other priorities. So that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very, very soon for my review of Empress of Mars. Bye for now, guys.